As like, why not? I haven't done this in a long time, so I thought I'd jump on with you today. How's
I
your week been,
really,
Alex?
no, it's been good so far. Really excited to be here, like you said. And while you guys are here waiting, we're gonna get started in just a few moments. But I'd love to hear where some of you are from. So go ahead and drop that in the chat. And then, of course, as we go through this, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat as well. We're really gonna rip through what myDevices offers, and we can always go ahead and answer those questions live or post. But we're really curious to hear about some of the projects you guys are working on. So feel free to drop those in as well. That may help us to customize things a little bit. How does that sound, Kevin?
That sounds great. And normally I'm not the person doing the presentation, so if you want to put me on the spot and have me run through, I'm happy to do that as well. So just let me know.
That sounds perfect. Steve, welcome. I see you just came on in. Go ahead and like I said, drop in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from.
I'm curious to know from your side what are some of the big ones you've been hearing this week in terms of use cases that people are looking for?
Definitely hospitality use cases. So I'm trying to think of the most clients I have. Recently, I worked with a client who is in a senior center or at least manages senior centers. So they want to use things like window and door sensors for safety reasons, occupancy sensors to make sure that I guess you could say clients are being checked on consistent levels and that there's movement and activity. So many different things. Panic buttons have been really popular for safety as well. So those are some of the most popular, I think, use cases overall. But those are as far as hospitality, that's the industry that I enjoy the use cases the most because there's no limits on it. I mean, whether you're looking at even like electric sub-metering or people who want to monitor their HVAC systems and use IoT sensors to do that, to set on and off switches, things like that. Like there's just no limits in hospitality when it comes to IoT at all.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of questions about. Here, I'll show you one of the devices that I've been getting a lot of questions about is the hot drop, which is really cool for monitoring electricity and runtime of machines. It's pretty cool. You just literally snap it onto one of these currents here. It's called a CT scanner, and it doesn't even need a battery. It takes the energy right off of this, and then it monitors the electricity. It monitors the runtime, and you got the little one, but then it goes all the way up to like 5,000 amps. So it's pretty cool. So I know that we've got enough people in here to start. So why don't I go ahead and do a little bit of a background on myDevices. What do you think?
No, that sounds great. And so sorry, guys, I'm hearing some of you say that you cannot write in the chat. So we're fixing that shortly. Working on getting that updated on our end. Okay.
Yeah. So in the meantime, if you can't do it in chat, guys, go ahead and just put your questions in the QA. So we'd like to know, like, what are the use cases that you're trying to solve for? What industry? Who are the customers you sell to? This is for you. This presentation is for you and for us to answer questions. But at a high level, let me get going here. If you've gone to our website, which presumably many of you have, what you're going to see here is when you go to this store, you're going to see about 1,000 different sensors, from temperature sensor to trackers to soil moisture, water flow, AC current, smart plugs. I mean, I'm just going to keep on going, feedback sensors, panic buttons. There's literally, this one's cool. This is a predictive maintenance sensor. There are 1,000 plus different sensors from 250 manufacturers. And these are all pre-provisioned and pre-configured. So what does that mean? That means we have a warehouse, and many of these are in our warehouse, and we can pick, pack, and ship them to you. And the good part about this is all of the decoding and everything's already done. So you just turn them on and they show up in the dashboard just like this. And you can see there's a lot of different solutions you can solve for, like HVAC monitoring, which, it's kind of cool. You can see when the fans are on, when the fans are off, and basically monitor the health of the HVAC system. As you said earlier, Alex, people being able to monitor occupancy, people going in, people going out of a facility, temperature monitoring. Now, this is white labelable. So, half of our customers will put their name on it, but the other half of the customers actually use this in their own platform. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of some of the partners that that we work with, it's a really wide variety. So I don't know if you guys associate with, with these types of companies, but Aramark, for example, is in the facilities management business. Excuse me. And they're doing things like occupancy and space utilization, indoor air quality, water leak detection, vibration monitoring. This is for predictive maintenance on motors and machines. And you've got like pressure monitoring or a whole bunch of things. So, they partner with myDevices, and they sell to hotels, hospitals, stadiums. And you got customers like Sodexo, who's quite similar to Aramark, servicing the same thing. And you have companies like FSG, who's one of the largest electrical contractors in the United States. They utilize myDevices. They just actually did a big rollout to a school district for indoor air quality. There's a wide variety of different use cases that our customers use. So here's another customer of ours who does water sub-metering. So if I show you, this is actually one of the sub-meters they use. And I saw a hand come up. Was there a question?
That might have been me by mistake, Kevin. Sorry.
Hey. Did we get the? By the way, did we get the chat going, or still not going?
It looks like we're good now. So guys, feel free to drop your questions as Kevin goes through this. We'll pause or answer as he gets through it as well.
Cool. Some of the other things I wanted to show today were some of the new features that we have that are pretty cool. So, Alex, I don't know if you get questions about this, but I know sometimes people, I hear them say, hey, what device is good for XYZ? And inside of our application, you have the ability to actually do virtual sensors. So you can go to menu, add a simulated device. You can then look for the device. So let's say you wanted to do, I don't know, temp monitoring, something as simple as temp monitoring. One of our favorites is the Dragino temp sensor. And you literally could just, add this device. Now, I don't physically have this device in my hands, but you can see on the screen, I said add device, and that automatically then adds it to my dashboard, but I can also create alerts and reports and everything. So with this simulated device, it acts like it's real. And then you can see all of the data points on it. You can also do things like, put things on a sensor map. So all of the sensors can be dragged around. You can upload your own sensors. You can visualize the data here. There's a thing called Corrective Action. So if there's ever a problem, and when you get an alert through SMS or through email, you can even have things in here like Corrective Action, like tell people, hey, this is what you should do if you see this type of alert. And then down here, what did they do to actually solve the problem? And that all gets recorded. That's good for compliance and that type of thing. And the cool thing is you can also, you can do multiple companies, multiple locations in different companies. You have multiple contacts with different permissions. So it's very powerful. And a common question we also get is, integrating and sending data northbound to another application. And there's quite a few different ways we can do it, either through webhooks, which is just like JSON straight out, or through full-blown API. So it's there's hardly a use case we hear anymore that we can't solve for. So what did I miss there, Alex? Was there anything I was missing?
No, so far you're not missing anything. I think, maybe we can go a little bit more to some of the logistical services as well.
Okay.
But
do you want to share your screen and show something?
No, I think you're good. I think you're good on yours, but maybe I can go back to yours. But just to give you an idea, and let's see if we could share it here.
Oh, by the way, hi, Alon. I see he's on from France. Eddie and Sergio, where are you guys calling in from? I'll wait for you guys to put it in the chat. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, you're fine. And just to give some clarity on the storing and logistics of these devices, we're procuring them, we're packing these, we're shipping the hardware to you or directly to your customers. We're managing all the warranties and the RMAs for you. So you're not really having to deal with all that back and forth. And the great thing is, because we've built these relationships with probably close to 300 different manufacturers now, if there's something that you're looking for in terms of the use case that we don't have, which I think is actually quite rare, we can always reach out to one of those manufacturers, see if it's something that they have. We have the, really the relationships to even start the conversations for custom builds. So, we essentially become your IoT warehouse. And I think it's also in terms of getting the devices out faster. This is great because you're not having to open out, different POs with different vendors. You come to us and we become your single source of hardware acquisition. So we're able to assist you in that regard as well and take care of all of this for you so that you can go to market faster and start deploying these solutions at a much faster rate. But Kevin, I don't want to railroad you. You can take it back over there if that works for you as well.
No, it's good. I think this is really important, because what people don't really, I think about when, and you can just leave this slide up because this is important. Let's say you want to do a sensor project. Let's say you wanted to do something like water submetering, which by the way is a pretty good one, especially now with the drought. And in California, there's some laws, and also around the country and other places around the world. And this is a great device. It's inexpensive. You put it in, it monitors the water flow, but it also can tell you if there's leaks. It tells you if there's freezing, so on and so forth. But what's interesting is if I just ship this off to somebody today, let's say they wanted to do this, and I just put this in a box and I ship that to somebody, for them to get this device connected, it's pretty hard. They'd have to go get the manual. They'd have to then go get the decoders, which is fine. They can get all that stuff. And then once they get it, then they had to set up a Lorawan Network. They had to do all this work just to get the data to come off of this. I mean, we were talking weeks of work for one device. All that work is done. In other words, we actually provision this. So once it ships out of that warehouse and lands in your location and it comes with a gateway, all of the data just flows in and you can start setting up your alerts. You can start doing reports. You don't have to worry about all that stuff in the, at the beginning there, which is really important. And I just don't think that a lot of people think about that. But it's pretty important. I mean, for most of our customers, don't you think that's like a pretty important piece of the puzzle?
It's a huge piece of the puzzle. So many people tell me they do not want to be involved in the hardware business. So that's a huge part of it. And then, not only do we have that kind of first half, but then I think also a huge part is the services that we're providing to support you, the support and training, because we are an enablement company. So we want to provide that because we want to make you successful. So just to tell you a little bit about the process, it starts with a kickoff call with our team. We really want to understand what projects you have going on. And really what we're doing is we're leveraging our experience to consult on which sensors would be best for your use cases. Also just saving so much time, saving money. We're starting to put together solutions, custom dashboards, and really do that all ahead of time so that we can make sure you're really in the best position to offer these services to your clients. So you've got, that support piece, but then we've also got our professional services where, do you need help with an installation? Do you need boots on the ground to go out and physically install the sensors? We have over, I want to say close to 1,900. I'm not sure if that's the most recent number of trained technicians who can go out and physically install sensors and assist with that. We've got technical support as well for whether it be hardware troubleshooting or systems integrations and getting the data routed into your platforms, your customers' platforms. So our goal really, we're assisting with the hardware, the software, and the connectivity that's fully needed to make your IoT business successful. And I definitely want to show a little bit of at least how the process goes. And I want to at least highlight what the first 30 days of partnership looks like. So it starts with our kickoff call. We move into this phase process, and that's where we bring in our implementation team. We bring in our sensor experts, and I feel like Kevin always jumps on those calls as well, which is great because they become a lot of fun. We begin to understand your goals and start building your solution. We also deliver your white label and start to schedule your trainings at that point. And then we're moving into phase 2, where we really want to run a proof of concept, get some sensors in your hands. We'll send them out, either to you or to a friendly client. We'll set up alerts. We'll start doing things like building those custom dashboards. And then we're moving on to phase 4, where now we've got this, perfect working solution. And the goal is, okay, how can we scale this? How can we grow it? And really just to summarize, we're offering streamlined IoT enablement for companies like yours, providing software that you can white label, integrations to get the data routed where you need to go, connectivity, managing a private Lorawan Network server for you, and then hardware that's plug and play ready from over 300 different manufacturers. And then in addition, our support team of sensor experts, deployment specialists, really everything you need to be successful. So I kind of want to pause here because I know we've spoken quite a bit, and I do want to open up that Q&A a little bit more. And Kevin, we can always jump into some dashboards and play around a little bit with it as well if you like.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I think what you just communicated is so important. People have an idea, a company has an idea that, and they're trying to sell to an end customer. The types of end customers that typically buy our product are managed service providers and system integrators who are selling to hotels, hospitals, factories, mining sites, office buildings, that kind of thing. And the key is they want to start deploying sensors to their customers, and the time to do that used to be like, many months. They make a phone call with us, they get on with somebody like yourself, and usually they go, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm looking for. They can't believe it. Typically they'll buy a little bit of hardware, we ship it out to them, and they instantly see that it works. So the value time to get something up and running is condensed down to days and weeks actually out to the customer. So let me see. Steve actually is asking a question. Does he have a question here? Do you want to read that, or you want me to read that?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read it. It says, thanks, Steve, for your question. It says our company, Ideal Group, develops customized mHealth survey apps that enable researchers to collect health medical data from users. Currently, our users respond to survey questions. What sensors do you distribute that might fit into this use case in support of gathering vital sign data?
I'd probably need to know more about that particular use case. I can share my screen. I mean, we have feedback sensors. I'm not sure if that's particularly what you would be looking for, but I'll share my screen, and then let's do this in real time. So let's say, for example, this may or may not be what you're looking for, but there are feedback terminals that people can push, and they can be customized, and then those results are given. I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for, or if you're looking for data to come in from the customer's vital signs. Can you read that again to me? Because I'm not exactly clear.
Yeah. Currently, users only respond to survey questions. What sensors do you distribute that might fit into this use case in support of gathering vital sign data? And just the background on the company, Ideal Group develops customized survey apps that enable researchers to collect health medical data from users. He did clarify right now, heart rate, blood pressure, etc.
Oh, okay. So, there are devices that we have on here that I'm not sure if they're medical grade or not for that, but you can get heart rate, you can get steps, you can get fall detection. Let me try and get to the top here. It is this device. So this information can automatically come into, into our dashboard, and it is things like heart rate, it's body temperature, skin temperature. But if you also have a medical device that is more medical grade, we can connect things to it, like this sensor here. There's like these things called Modbus sensors. So if there's industry standard devices, we can suck data in from this. Not sure if that's what you're looking for. So need to probably get a little bit more information, but getting data into the platform can come from any of these devices, but it can also come in from many different sources. We can bring data in from HTTP, so cloud to cloud connections, or any other types of sources of data. Not sure if he clarified any further in there.
No, I think that's a good place to start. And just, for you guys to know, as you're watching this, we definitely, we can only answer so much, right? But we really want to dive deep into some of these projects with you. So after this meeting, you can go to mydevices.com/Alex. I'll go ahead and share that link in the chat. And then we can schedule some time to really dive deeper into this further, because that would really be a great conversation for us.
Yeah, that's good. And, one of the things I was showing here is just the diversity of the different types of sensors and the different types of data points. So you can see, like, this sensor here does temperature, humidity, gas, CO2, TVOC, pressure, indoor air quality, acceleration. There's really any kind of sensor data that can come into here. This device here, it's a smart plug. So not only does it measure the amount of energy that comes in, but you can also remotely turn it on or turn it off. And if you go to device settings in all of our application, even though the manufacturer is different, you can actually see in here, there's settings you can change, like, the interval in which data comes, you can change it here from 5 minutes to, let's say, 30 minutes, or, something like that. And then more complicated devices, like this one's pretty cool. This is the energy consumption. These are all the different data points you can get. So power, energy, the amount of energy in the last hour, last 24 hours, and you have the ability to turn in here and actually even do things like the operating time, like how often is the machine running on it. And then you have configuration settings in here. So literally you get up and running, but then you can also customize it very easily as well.
Perfect, Kevin. I think we have another question.
Okay.
They're hoping that we can highlight about utility smart meters. Maybe you can go over those a bit.
Yeah.
Of our potential solutions.
Yeah, sure. So, so one is the one that I was actually just showing. So this one here is a CT clamp. It's called a hot drop. It's a very popular sensor right now. It's very easy to install. It doesn't require an electrician. You literally just clamp it on to the different phases, and it will give you minute by minute data that's aggregated like every 5 minutes. And it even tells you the runtime. So let's say you put this onto an HVAC system. This would come back and give you the run, when it's running and when it's not running. And this connects up to, that small one does up to 300 amps. And then the larger one goes up to 5,000 amps. Now, there are other choices. So for example, let's say somebody has, and by the way, interrupt me if there's any other stuff here that's coming up, but if they also have an existing meter that's out in the field, you can use this thing called a pulse counter. And this has two little wires basically that you just connect to those meters, and it shows, it accounts for you. So that's, there's multiple ways to solve it. So it depends on the actual use case. So you could do what we just showed you, or you can use something that's very similar like this, like a 3-phase. This one's battery operated, and there's specific use cases for when you would use this one versus, some of these other choices. So if somebody gave us like a very specific use case, we would be able to make a recommendation on what to use for metering. This one here, for example, is a more traditional, which is a more traditional one, but we can connect into this and feed the data in as well. Not sure if there's any further clarification on their question.
Let me see. It doesn't look like it so far, but that's all right. A couple of other questions. Can we use another Lorawan network?
Yeah. So you can use any Lorawan network. Now we include a Lorawan network automatically with everything. So all of these, when you see the gateways that are down here at the bottom of our, down here, all of these come preloaded with a LoRa network server that's completely included inside the application. So you literally just plug the power into this thing, and all those other sensors that you saw at the top automatically connect. All of these connect and feed right into our dashboard. So there's nothing else that anybody needs to do. But if they wanted to use TTN, Senate, EveryNet, RBWise, Actility, it doesn't matter. It's fully compatible with our system. So, and you don't have to use, our dashboard. I'd say 50% of our customers actually just feed the data straight into their systems and don't even use our dashboards.
Perfect. All right, let's see. Looks like we have another one. Can end users create different views for people within their organization, i.e. hierarchies of contacts, and only give access to certain locations or editing permissions in your platform?
Question. Yeah, it's a good question. So the answer is yes. So it's full multi-tenant. By the way, we're just showing you the front end. There's actually a full back end as well. But you would go in here and you can add contacts, and those contacts can be given rights to edit or can view. And you can say which sites and locations they can access. So what happens is if I were to put somebody's name in here, they're going to receive an email with an invite, and then they get access to this application, which not only runs on the web, but is also mobile as well. And if they get edit rights, they can do things in here like create sensor maps or, create alerts, or do all that type of stuff. Or if it's only can view, they're not able to, to modify things like that.
Perfect. And then I know you mentioned the back end, so maybe we could show a little bit of that. That might be a good direction to go in.
Okay. Yeah. So here in the back end, each of the customers actually receive their own way to manage their own customers. So when you have massive deployments all over the place, you're able to see these different locations and all the devices that are in there, and then you're able to do things like remote assistance or reset password. So it's not just a dashboard. The dashboard is the smallest part of everything. What you actually have is the ability to manage customers at scale. And then you have the ability to, like, if you do want to bring in your own device, we have these things called device templates, which that's how we can bring in a brand new device literally within 30 minutes. So if we don't have a device in our catalog and you want to bring it in, it takes about 30 minutes to bring it in. And the way we do that is through our device templates, where we have these capabilities for each of these different devices. And we do all this coding though and set all this up for you guys. You don't have to do any of this type of stuff. Was that useful?
No, that was perfect. That was going to be my next question.
Okay.
But let's see. It looks like we have another question coming in. Is it possible to monitor with the platform every device, like inventory, if it sounds like they're saying if a sensor is working or not in real time? And does the platform have multi-tenancy features, or it looks like multi-tenants features with the same project or for several customers?
Yes, and yes. So this screen that I'm seeing here, I kind of have like the God view and I can see everything, all customers, but I can share this out with those contacts and only give them access to this. And so you have these layers of multi-tenancy. And in terms of, there's even some other very powerful features like single sign-on or Azure Active Directory. So there's some organizations that have everything managed, all of their, like for example, we have a customer who has 400 employees, and employees, they have a lot of turnover. So it's synced up to their Active Directory, automatically assigning in that kind of thing. And it even does single sign-on, so people can just click and go straight into the application with the correct permissions and so on and so forth. So yes, did I answer all the questions here? I'm not sure if I did.
I think you got that there. I think that works perfect. But really, I think the next step is definitely for us to be able to speak with you guys individually. So go to mydevices.com/Alex. Let's set up a time. Me and Kevin can dive in. We can bring in Cameron, our VP of Sales, and really learn a little bit more about the projects you're working on, so that we can start building solutions for you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, Kevin, you're still sharing. Sorry.
Oh, sorry about
Is that okay? Can I start your screen?
Yeah, go for it. Let me stop sharing. I was trying to show off a little bit with custom dashboards, but yeah, go for it.
No, we go back to it. That's even better. But I know we're coming to the end of our time here. So like I said, go to mydevices.com/Alex, set up a time to speak with me and Kevin one-on-one. Thank you guys so much for joining. We really appreciate it. And we're really excited to speak with you further. That's definitely the next step, to dive deep into this project. And also, really we can show you, a couple more custom dashboards. Like we said, we can speak to you about the application a little bit more and really customize the experience of that conversation. So go to that link, go ahead and schedule some time. Kevin, if you have anything else you want to add, I'll let you throw that in there too.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'll let me just answer. Steve has got one last question.
Oh.
He was asking if they own several farms, corn, soybeans, what type of sensors have you provided to farmers that they find useful? Well, actually, there's a recent one who's doing strawberry farming, and they have a weather station and all that data is coming in. And I asked them, like, why do you need a weather station? Can't you just pull the weather off of, like weather? And they said, no, it's a microclimate. So for them to put a weather station right there on the field is very important. So that's number one. Number two, there's these solenoid controllers. So they can actually turn on and turn off their valves. And then there's also soil moisture sensors. And they even have pipe pressure sensors. So on their irrigation, they want to make sure there's no leaks. So they have pipe pressure that's on there. So if there's a leak, they would see that. So all of those come back into a dashboard that they could share with others, but they also roll that data up into like Power BI dashboards and that kind of thing. So that's just one, but there's a variety of other sensors as well. But yeah, we appreciate your guys' time, and hopefully that answered your guys' questions. And Alex, thanks for letting me jump in today. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. I think we may have missed one more. I'm not sure if we have time, but maybe we can go into it.
Yeah, go for it.
Can smart meters be integrated with local tariff?
Yeah, so one of the, it depends. So these hot drops, for example, they have a new product that is coming out where you put a basically a hot drop around the main on the building. This is for electricity, by the way, and then we'll talk about water real quick. But you put it around the building, and then you can sub-meter down to the individual units. That will be, it will meet the billing requirements. So it will be that accurate. The current ones that are in there today, you really couldn't use for billing. This one for water, this Axioma, they do have a billing rated one as well. So it depends on the location, but just get on with us separately and tell us the exact location, and then we can check with the hardware manufacturers. But if the device exists, which 99% of the time it does, then we can typically answer that for you guys. So yeah, thanks everyone. We appreciate your time, and Alex, again, thanks. I normally don't jump onto these, but I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, no, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. It's actually better as a dialogue. So I'm hoping to dialogue with some of you more. Like I said, go to mydevices.com/Alex. Thank you so much for your guys' time, and everybody have a great day.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. See ya.